Welcome to the deep dive. So, you sent us the study guide for Cherie de Maline's The Marrow Thieves, and that's exactly what we're going to get into today.
Yeah, a really powerful novel.
Absolutely. Our mission here is to pull out the absolute core of this story. The big themes, the plot points, and why it matters. We want to give you a really solid grasp of it, fast.
And the setup is, well, it's quite something. A future Canada ravaged by climate change.
Right. And most people, they've lost the ability to dream, except
Except Indigenous people.
mm,
Their bone marrow somehow holds the key to dreaming again.
which makes them incredibly valuable, but also targets. It sets up this intense central conflict right away. Okay, so let's unpack that a bit.
What's really fascinating, I think, is how it flips everything on its head.
Mm-hmm.
Dreaming, something we think of as universal, suddenly becomes exclusive to this historically marginalized group.
It completely shifts the power dynamic, or at least the focus of power.
Exactly. And it forces you to think, what happens when a society loses something so fundamental? What desperate measures follow?
Yeah, and we see this world through Frenchie's eyes. He's a young Métis boy, and his entry point is just traumatic.
The recruiters.
The recruiters, yeah. They're hunting Indigenous people for their marrow, and Frenchie witnesses them taking his brother Mitch. That's the catalyst.
It's brutal. And that initial trauma, that family separation, it's not just plot. It grounds everything in this visceral sense of loss, the absolute need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more than just physical survival, isn't it? It's about holding on to kinship, culture,
Right.
when the system itself is trying to erase you.
Totally. So after Mitch is taken, Frenchie's on the run. Eventually he finds Mig's group, these other survivors.
And that campfire scene early on in chapter 2.
Yes, that's where you really see the power of storytelling taking shape. It's how they bond, how they keep their history alive.
It's absolutely crucial for cultural resilience. I mean,
Yeah.
their physical world is under attack, so the oral tradition, passing down stories and identity, that becomes this powerful act of resistance, like maintaining their own narrative, their cognitive sovereignty, you could say.
That's a great way to put it. And as Frenchie becomes part of the group, like in chapter 3, you see their daily life, the routines, the shared jobs. There's a structure.
It really highlights how important community is, that
Mhm.
collective purpose, when you're facing such overwhelming odds.
And those routines, they're not just practical, are they?
No, not at all. Think about any crisis situation. Creating routines, even small ones, it's a psychological anchor. It provides a bit of normalcy, a sense of control, when the world outside is just chaos.
Right. Then chapter 4, Mig starts to fill in the blanks, the backstory. How society collapsed, how they figured out the Marrow thing.
And the rise of these institutions, which are terrifyingly similar to the residential schools.
That's where it gets really chilling. Dimmeline draws that line so clearly.
Yes, and that's what makes the dystopian element so powerful. It's not just some random future disaster. She's directly connecting it to historical trauma. The loss of dreams becomes this potent metaphor for, the cultural and psychological damage of colonialism.
And the Marrow harvesting.
It echoes the historical extraction, the dehumanization. It's incredibly effective.
And the danger is always there. Chapter 5, they have this encounter with the recruiters.
A really harrowing one.
It just hammers home the constant threat, the physical danger, but also the emotional toll it takes on everyone, especially Frenchie.
It keeps the stakes incredibly high. You understand they can never really relax. Constant vigilance.
But amidst all that darkness, there's a flicker of something else in chapter 6. The connection between Frenchie and Rose.
Ah, yes. That budding romance. It's a small thing, but so important.
It's that human connection, isn't it? A reminder that even in the worst times, people still need love, companionship.
Absolutely. It provides this crucial emotional balance to all the danger and loss. It shows you what they're actually fighting for, a future where intimacy, where connection is still possible, a future the recruiters want to extinguish.
But survival isn't simple. Chapter 7 introduces another Indigenous group, and, well,
Betrayal.
yeah, they end up betraying Mig's group. It adds this layer of complexity. It's not just us versus them.
That's such an important point. Dimmeline avoids making it too simplistic. That betrayal, born out of desperation and trauma, shows how scarcity can erode trust, force terrible choices. It reflects the painful realities of survival, not some idealized victim narrative.
And all through this, Mig keeps teaching, passing on knowledge. Chapter 8 talks about the 7 lessons.
These are fundamental. They're not just stories, they're guiding principles. They help preserve their identity and form their choices in this broken world.
It's that intergenerational wisdom, keeping the connection to their past alive.
Exactly. A conscious effort to maintain who they are when everything is trying to erase them.
Then chapter 11 gives us this really unsettling look at the other side. The group finds a non-indigenous town.
And it's just bleak. Despair, madness. It shows what happens when you lose the ability to dream.
It broadens the perspective, doesn't it? It suggests this loss affects everyone, just differently. And it underscores the desperation driving the recruiters.
Yeah, it raises questions about how interconnected society really is, even across these lines of oppressor and oppressed.
Mm.
Shared suffering, in a way.
But then, chapter 10, a new possibility emerges. Hope.
The North. A safe haven.
Yes, it becomes their goal, this beacon, something to aim for beyond just surviving day to day.
And the North itself is symbolic,
Yeah.
right? For many indigenous cultures, it represents origin, spirit, refuge. It embodies that hope for renewal, reclaiming their way of life.
The journey there is still fraught, though. Chapter 11 really digs into the trauma, the fear of being followed, Frenchie's own grief, his nightmares.
And you have characters like Riri, the younger ones.
Her innocence, it's such a stark contrast. It reminds you constantly of what's at stake, who they're trying to protect.
That vulnerability, the preciousness of life. It underscores the moral weight of their struggle.
Then chapter 12, Frenchie gets really sick.
And the group risks everything to care for him.
That moment really speaks volumes about their loyalty, the strength of their chosen family, that commitment to each other.
It's a powerful act of resistance in itself, isn't it? In a world pushing towards violence and self-interest, that mutual support, that care, is profound.
We also see Frenchie changing, growing up fast.
Yeah.
Chapter 13 shows him taking on more responsibility.
He's internalizing Meek's lessons, finding his own strength, and his relationship with Rose fuels that too, I think.
Definitely. He's moving from being just a survivor to someone thinking about the future, about leading.
His whole arc is central. From this scared kid to a young man learning courage, finding purpose.
And the emotional core gets deeper in chapter 14. Mig shares his own story.
His personal loss, losing his husband to the recruiters.
That vulnerability, it connects the group even more, doesn't it?
Immensely. Sharing that loss deepens the empathy, but it also shows them the personal cost, the stakes Mig himself carries. His past fuels his determination now. He's not just teaching, he's lived it.
Then there's Minerva in chapter 15, her silence after a trauma.
That silence is so layered. On one level, it's clearly the impact of trauma, the silencing that indigenous people have faced historically.
But maybe something more.
Possibly. Maybe a deeper spiritual connection, something beyond words. It's complex. A form of resilience, maybe, in the face of something unspeakable.
And then, the turning point, chapter 16. It's devastating.
Riri's death.
Yeah, it just shatters everything. That loss of innocence, the impact on the group, especially on Frenchie, the grief, the guilt.
It's brutal. A heartbreaking reminder of the constant threat, the fragility of life, the cost of survival. It forces them all to confront that reality in a new way.
But even after that, they have to adapt. Chapter 17 shows the group regrouping, and Frenchie, he starts thinking strategically.
Yes. He's looking ahead, considering leadership almost. It's a major shift. He's not just reacting anymore. He's actively engaging with the challenges, thinking critically.
And we get more of Mig's backstory in chapter 18. Just the sheer resilience, the sacrifices he's made over his life.
It solidifies him as that anchor, that guide. His history of loss and perseverance is this powerful example for the younger ones. It shows the strength needed to keep resisting.
Chapter 19 throws them into extreme hardship again. The cold, lack of food.
The environmental challenges really test them.
And during this, Frenchie steps up again, taking initiative, supporting the group. You really see his strength emerging.
He's becoming an active contributor to their survival, not just a follower. It's a key part of his development.
Then the drama escalates again. Chapter 20. Minerva is kidnapped.
A huge blow. She's this keeper of tradition, spiritual strength.
The group doesn't hesitate, though. Risking everything, they plan a rescue. And Frenchie's right there, leading the charge.
Their response just shows how deep those bonds are. Their determination to protect her, this elder, this symbol of their culture.
And the climax, chapter 21. The infiltration. Minerva?
Her voice. Reclaiming her voice after the silence. It's incredible.
She uses it to disrupt the recruiter system, essentially dismantling it from within. A huge act of resistance, of spiritual power.
Hugely significant. It shows culture, spirit as real weapons, and her sacrifice. It's the ultimate act for the greater good, a true turning point.
Chapter 22 deals with the fallout, the escape, coming to terms with losing Minerva.
And this is where Frenchie fully steps into that leadership role, isn't it? He understands the costs now, the weight of responsibility for his community's future.
He's come full circle, in a way.
He really has.
So the story doesn't end in despair, though. They reach the north, that safe haven.
And the reunion, Frenchie finds his father.
It's such a moving moment. It offers this glimmer of hope, the possibility of rebuilding, of community, of culture, away from the immediate threat.
Yeah, it's hopeful, but it doesn't erase the losses, does it? It suggests rebuilding is possible, but it takes work, remembrance, commitment.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the big themes really stand out, don't they? Colonialism and resistance, loss and survival.
Identity and heritage, dreams and hope, family and community both born and chosen.
Demoline weaves them together so skillfully through these characters you really care about. It functions as this powerful allegory, making you think about real historical and ongoing issues.
Definitely. And the symbolism is so rich. The Marrow itself, its culture, life force, spirit.
Dreams, hope, identity, self-determination, storytelling defiance, cultural preservation.
And the land, the North Sanctuary, ancestry, healing, resurgence.
And you can't ignore the direct connection she makes. The residential school system parallels the ongoing struggles for indigenous rights.
Right. She uses this speculative dystopian frame to shine a bright light on those critical issues, to build empathy, understanding.
So as we finish up here, the Marrow Thieves leaves you with this powerful mix, a chilling vision, yes, but also a profound statement about resilience, the vital importance of culture, and the enduring impact of colonialism.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. How does using this dystopian lens, reimagining historical trauma in this way, actually help us understand contemporary injustice and the fight for cultural preservation maybe even more deeply?
Yeah.
Really makes you think about the power of stories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And why remembering the past is so crucial for the present and the future.